Hey, what up YouTube? It's David and I'm back with another episode of Bitesize Business. So this one I'm going to talk about why it's so important to start off small. And the reason why starting off small is so important is because when you first start off, the first big drain in most businesses is probably something like cash flow, usually. And for most people starting a business, cash flow can be a real serious thing. Some people will save up to get into business. Some people will just be like, yo, let's jump in and see how it goes. Some people have got other forms of income to support them. But for most people, if you haven't got some form of real income and it's going to go straight from zero to where it goes, start small is incredibly important. So you start small, and the reason why you start small is for something like this. If you are, say, a baker, and you want to open a bakery, right? Because you want to have a nice short storefront for people to come to and buy your goods from the counter, and you don't own your own unit. You're gonna look for a unit, and let's just say the cost of that unit per month is, say, I don't know, £1,000, something like that, right? It's got £1,000 if you can get a good unit, right? And every month, that's something which you've got to pay, okay? So that is, by the end of the year, it's going to cost you, by the end of the year, £12,000, or whatever it is you pay in your currency, right? So by the end of the year, before you even sold anything, that's a bill, yeah? So if you're earning, let's just say, I don't know what it is, let's say you're earning 50,000 a year, pre-tax, you're gonna lose that right off the rip, right? Just keep this going, okay? So if you are selling, something, like let's say you are just selling cakes, right? And you're doing it from your own place, from your own house. That's a much easier start, right? Because essentially by doing that, by staying at home, whatever it is your overheads are for your rent, your mortgage, whatever it might be, it's probably easier to pay your rent and your mortgage and not have this on top, right? So let's just say your rent is £1,000 as well, kind of thing, per month. Now you've got £2,000 going out before you sold anything, right? That's to keep a roof above your head, your business going. So that's just a hard way to start your business, right? Because that money could be going elsewhere, whether it be for inventory, whether it be for website hosting, whether it be for staff, whatever it might be, right? So you just want to start small, and starting small, right, look different to each people. So if you start small, it could be a case of, right, okay, I want to run my cake business. I want to start with, my sandwiches or whatever it is. And you think to yourself, okay, I've got a unit, I've got my rent, my house, and people are already buying it, right? And obviously, that's a good place to start. You start with this, and you think to yourself, okay, let's just say I started selling cakes, and you sold 30 cakes in a week, and each cake was £10. You sold for, right? £10 per cake. So that would have been £300 at the end of the week. By the end of the month, if you did that by 4, that's £1,200, right? So if you were doing that level of sales, right, which works out to something like, I think, 5 cakes per day, if that's what you're making, you're going to lose £1,000 of that straight away just in unit rent, right? And that's before you buy all your ingredients to make what works out as 120 cakes, yeah, per month, right? So that's why it's so important. Now, obviously, don't forget, your unit cost rent is basically another business agreement with somebody else. They're taking this from this, yeah? So you want to be in a situation before you even get to unit rent, you are making this already, yeah? After all your expenditures, because you don't want to be jumping into this every month knowing that that's got to come out and you're barely pulling this in, yeah? So start small here and then get into this.